Freeze. Right there. That guy in the comments swearing his mechanical PCP is basically perfect. He is not wrong. He is just 15 years behind. Because somewhere between his last tune job and this video, 5 companies quietly stopped building air rifles and started building rifles that think. Not adjust, not tune, think. One of them has a chronometer buried inside the barrel shroud, clocking your pellet before it even clears the muzzle, then correcting the next shot on its own, in real time, without you touching a thing. Another one flat out murdered the hammer. No steel, no strike, just a whisper of compressed air and a trigger brake lighter than a coin. 5 platforms, 0 mechanical guesswork left standing. And the rifle waiting at number 1 does not just outshoot everything else on this list. It outthinks its own factory brothers. Let's start at the bottom, because even 5th place here would embarrass whatever is leaning in your gun safe right now. Kicking things off at number 5 is the Steyr Challenge E. Highly refined and ridiculously precise, this tack driver was bred specifically for the 10-meter and field target competition circuits. Steyr took their Olympic pedigree and injected it with an electronic sear system that completely eliminates human error. You get a fully adjustable chassis and an electronic trigger that can be tuned all the way down to a microscopic 15 grams of pull weight. Looking under the hood, you have to understand the mechanics behind the Steyr stabilizer. This system utilizes an internal tungsten mass that is driven backward at the exact millisecond the rifle fires. By directing that heavy mass opposite to the pellet, it completely cancels out the forward momentum of the air blast and striker. That means 0 dynamic recoil and absolutely no muzzle jump when you take the shot. Squeezing that micro switch trigger snaps like a fragile glass rod breaking under freezing pressure. Because there is no heavy hammer slapping around inside the action, the report sounds like a heavy textbook hitting a carpeted floor, practically mouse fart quiet. The lock time is reduced to mere milliseconds, meaning the lead is out of the barrel before your muscles even have a chance to twitch and throw the shot off target. Throwing 177 caliber pellets downrange, this rig features a 450mm barrel. Weighing in at roughly 9.7 pounds before you even add counterweights, it is a hefty piece of gear. As for the damage to your wallet, well, it is a descriptive placeholder. Listen, here is the harsh reality. With a maximum output sitting under 12 foot-pounds of energy, this is purely a target rifle. It lacks the necessary knockdown power for any serious pest control, making it an absolute failure for field hunting. This is a surgical paper puncher, but wait until you see the absolute slug-slinging monster waiting for you at number 1. Stepping up the power and moving away from the pure target plinkers, we lock into the Macavity Arms MA8 at number 4. Built specifically to dominate the competitive bench rest circuit, this hybrid beast bridges the gap between mechanical tuning and digital precision. It utilizes a wired micro-switch trigger that completely eliminates the sloppy linkages usually found in chassis setups. Diving into the engineering, you have to understand how the TrueClick externally adjustable regulator functions. Instead of blindly twisting an Allen key and hoping for the best, this mechanism lets you adjust the air pressure feeding the plenum in exact 1 bar increments per physical click. This allows you to meticulously balance the air volume against your hammer spring tension, finding the absolute perfect harmonic node for any slug weight without taking the gun apart. Rolling onto that 2-stage electronic trigger breaks crisp and sharp, like snapping a brittle icicle in half. When that electronic slingshot hammer drops and hits the proprietary single valve, the muzzle report sounds like a heavy pneumatic staple gun driving steel into dense oak. Pushes 9mm slugs downrange with brutal authority. Thanks to a 56% pneumatic conversion efficiency, this platform generates a massive 190 joules of energy. Feeding this powerhouse is a massive 690cc aerospace aluminum cylinder rated for a staggering 4,350 psi. Honestly, there is a glaring flaw when it comes to financial value. Once you start buying into their interchangeable barrel ecosystem to swap between TJ heavy liners and FX tension shrouds, the proprietary accessories will absolutely drain your wallet. The base platform sets you back a descriptive placeholder, but you will spend a fortune tuning it. Listen, I know the traditional firearm guys will doubt these extreme pneumatic power numbers. Sound off below in the comments if you have ever witnessed an air rifle punch groups like this at 100 yards. Now we get into the serious tactical hunting rigs, with the Evanix MP30, locking down the number 3 spot. This Korean-built platform is a totally unique pistol and carbine hybrid. It was designed from the ground up for extreme close-quarters pest control. Machined from high-grade aircraft aluminum, it gives you insane maneuverability without sacrificing lethal pneumatic power. Focusing on the engineering, you need to look at the integrated foregrip air cylinder. Instead of hanging a heavy air bottle under the barrel, like a traditional setup, Evanix built the air reservoir directly into the front grip. This drastically shifts the center of gravity straight into the middle of your hands. That structural change allows the gun to balance perfectly and point naturally as a direct extension of your body. Pulling through the high-speed semi-automatic action feels incredibly responsive. The trigger breaks crisp, like a heavy deadbolt snapping shut on a solid steel door. When that pressurized air dumps out the barrel, the muzzle report barks aggressively, like a heavy framing nailer punching into dense concrete. Spit's 30 cal lead downrange at a very consistent 300 feet per second. The pneumatic system is controlled by an externally adjustable regulator that you can tune anywhere from 100 bar up to 180 bar. You can fill the system up to a maximum pressure of 4,350 psi. Feeding this system is a 15-round magazine for the big bore option, or a 20-round magazine if you step down to the 22 caliber version, which shoots at 850 feet per second. Look, here is the ugly truth regarding the ergonomics. Because the air cylinder doubles as your front grip, the sheer circumference makes it incredibly fat and uncomfortable to hold for extended periods. Street price is a descriptive placeholder, but it still delivers a massive amount of firepower in a highly compact package. Entering the elite tier, we are looking at a massive disruption in traditional pneumatics, with the SKOUT EVO and the SKOUT Semi locking down the number 2 spot. Built right here in the United States, these platforms completely abandon the old-school hammer and spring mechanics. They rely on an advanced electro-pneumatic drive that basically deletes internal friction and dynamic recoil during the entire shot cycle. Focusing on the heart of the system, you need to understand exactly how the hammerless electro-pneumatic valve operates. Instead of a heavy steel hammer physically smashing into a valve pin, the electronic circuit board sends a digital signal to a solenoid. That solenoid releases a tiny pilot burst of air, which instantly triggers the main firing valve to open. Because there is absolutely no heavy metal mass slamming forward, the platform fires with zero mechanical vibration. Tapping the trigger feels impossibly light, like swiping a touchscreen on a fresh smartphone. When that digital signal fires, the muzzle report is dead flat, sounding like a high-pressure air hose suddenly popping off a shop compressor. The lock time is virtually non-existent because the electrical impulse travels at the speed of light directly to the firing mechanism. Throws 357 caliber slugs downrange with a maximum energy output of 150 foot-pounds. The EVO utilizes a massive 580cc carbon fiber bottle filled to 4,500 psi, regulated by a highly tunable multi-pressure dual regulator system. If you want speed over extreme power, the semi version pushes 22 caliber lead at 900 feet per second from a 300cc bottle, delivering 45 foot-pounds of energy for rapid pest control. Honestly, there is a serious build and aesthetic annoyance with the high-resolution color screen mounted on the chassis. That vivid display is a total dirt and scratch magnet when you are crawling through thick brush in the woods, making the electronic components feel a bit vulnerable for a rugged hunting rig. The damage to your wallet is a descriptive placeholder, but the sheer technological leap is undeniable. Taking the absolute throne at number 1 is the Daystate Alpha Wolf. This is the most advanced, future-proof smart rifle ever constructed. It completely justifies taking the crown because it gives you the surgical electronic precision of the Steyr at number 5, but pairs it with an intelligent velocity system that makes the electro-pneumatic setup on the SKOUT at number 2 look like last-generation tech. Looking at the engineering, you have to understand the advanced velocity technology. Instead of relying on open-loop mechanics, this utilizes a closed-loop electronic firing cycle with a chronograph built straight into the carbon fiber barrel shroud. The onboard computer reads the exact speed of the lead leaving the muzzle. If your environmental temperature drops and causes a velocity shift, the system instantly recalculates the dwell time and holds the solenoid valve open a few microseconds longer for your next shot to maintain absolute consistency. What truly separates this platform from the rest of the market is the digital ecosystem. The entire system is powered by an 11.1-volt lithium polymer battery, hidden safely inside the stock. You charge it up just like a phone, using a USB Type-C port. More importantly, it features a data transfer device interface. That means you can physically plug this air rifle into your Windows computer to download future firmware upgrades, ensuring your internal ballistics algorithms never go out of date. Depending on your tactical needs, the platform is highly adaptable. If you are operating in tight spaces, the Shadow variant is a compact bullpup that gives you maximum maneuverability. But if you need raw, long-range power, the performance version utilizes a redesigned ultra-fast flow valve to push the limits of kinetic energy. Pressing that micro-switch trigger snaps exactly like a dry pine twig cracking under a heavy combat boot. When that firing valve dumps the air, the muzzle report is incredibly deep, sounding like a heavy bass drum echoing inside a small soundproof room. Spits 30 cal slugs downrange with devastating impact. In the high-performance configuration, this beast generates an impressive 115 foot-pounds of energy. It feeds from a 480cc carbon fiber cylinder filled to a maximum of 240 bar. The airflow is meticulously governed by an externally adjustable Huma air regulator before pushing the payload down a 28-inch Lothar Walther barrel. Setting you back a descriptive placeholder, it is expensive, but it is the ultimate smart weapon. Let's be real. 2026 is the definite line in the sand for the airgun world. If you are still clinging to old-school springers and basic mechanical setups, you are basically bringing a butter knife to a tactical laser fight. The guys winning championships and cleanly dispatching pests at 100 yards are doing it with microchips, advanced firmware, and high-speed solenoids. Now, I know the traditional purists are going to complain in the comments about batteries dying in the woods or circuit boards getting wet. Listen, modern electronics are completely sealed against the elements, and these high-end rigs are built like absolute tactical tanks. The data does not lie. Consistent feet per second means tighter groups, and tighter groups mean flawless takedowns in the field. The tech is here, it is proven, and it is absolutely dominating the market. You can either dig your heels in and complain, or you can adapt to the digital evolution. Do not get left behind on the bench with your outdated gear. Keep your air tanks full, and I will see you downrange.